Most people don't live their lives on purpose. Instead, they drift through life hoping things will eventually align perfectly so they can finally start living. And then when things do align, they still don't take the chance. Most people don't live their lives out of laziness, but because they are slaves to invisible forces they didn't even realize existed. I know this because I used to be one of them. Over the past decade, I've spoken to millions of people about changing their lives and careers. And in this talk, I want to share with you 4 fundamental truths that can help you stop wasting your life and start taking control of it. So let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I was at a conference, and there was this guy in the front row who kept raising his hand. He had these questions about productivity. He wanted to know how to maximize his output and get more done. And as he asked these questions, I could see a look of pure panic on his face. And so after the talk, we had a chat and I asked him, "Why do you want to get more done?" And he said, "Because I have all these things I need to accomplish." And then it hit me that he was racing towards an imaginary finish line that no one had set for him except himself. He was trapped in a cycle of exhausting himself, working in the wrong direction. Here's the first truth. There is no such thing as the perfect time. You could wait forever, but the perfect time doesn't exist. It's a myth that keeps us stuck. If you want to make a change in your life or take a chance, you just have to take the shot. Take the shot even if you're not ready. Because here's the other truth. The more you delay doing something, the more daunting it becomes. When I left my corporate job to pursue my dream of becoming an entrepreneur, every day that passed made it harder to take the leap. It made it harder to give up the security of my job, harder to leave behind the life I had built, harder to disappoint others, and harder to disappoint myself. But I knew that if I waited any longer, it would become impossible. So eventually I just had to take the leap of faith and trust that I could figure it out. And I did. And I realized that there are things that are worth risking everything for. Here's the second truth. We often get lost in our own thoughts and doubts. But there's a beautiful quote from Paulo Coelho that says, "When we love what we do, we don't use the word success. We use the word fulfillment." Now let's talk about the third truth. Most people never reach their potential not because of their friends, but in spite of them. Here's some hard data. Harvard did this massive 8-year-long study on happiness. They tracked 268 Harvard students for 8 years, taking measurements of their blood pressure, their stress levels, their relationships, and their overall well-being. And what they found was that our social environment has an enormous impact on our habits, our mindset, and our overall success. They specifically looked at the connections of the participants and found that emotions are contagious. They also found that income is highly influenced by the income of your closest friends. Like if your friends make a lot of money, chances are you'll make a lot of money too. And that if your friends have a negative outlook on life, chances are you'll develop a negative outlook on life as well. Now, I don't believe in sharing too much of this stuff with my friends, but maybe that's something to think about. And the fourth truth, the people we surround ourselves with have an enormous influence on our lives. And yes, this includes our family members, our friends, our colleagues, and even the media we consume. When I decided to change my career, I knew that I needed to change my environment. I needed to surround myself with people who believed in me and my vision, people who could challenge me and support me, people who were on a similar journey. When I did this, it completely changed my perspective and gave me the confidence to take risks and pursue my dreams. So here's the deal. We can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. If we want to create a life that we're proud of, we have to invest in ourselves and our development. Don't wait any longer. Don't let another year go by wondering what could have been. Start today. Start now. Let's stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. Thank you.